If at all you cry out to God, he will likewise not turn you away. If you cry out to God, he will likewise not turn you away. It must mean that these are people that God is giving mercy. He is compassionate towards them, but they're entirely shut out, just like Esau, where it is that throughout your lifetime, the Lord will have mercies on you, but you can never enter his rest at the end of your life. But he will give you to be a little bit bitter on this side of earth. There's a song that I rewrote at Demi Lovato. Y'all know that I convert secular music into Christian songs. And the song goes, Jesus, I'm sorry, I'm not sorry. Jesus, I'm sorry, I'm not sorry. I went around persecuting your church, and now they're on fire, and for that they made me burn. I'm sorry for what I did to Karabo. I'm sorry for what I did to Karabo. But then she like clears her throat, wakes up, takes a shower, every bottom like a clap in the morning. Yeah. And then just continues to persecute me, continues to sit on my chest, continues to listen to her madlesas that keep on telling her you better keep her blocked, continues to commit crimes, continues to essentially not even ask for help. The other day, I need help, I need help, I need help. You need help? You need help? What, like a therapist, a shrink? Oh yeah, that's just the thing. Your issue is spiritual. You know, you can't, ain't no shrink gonna be out here doing anything for you, right? You need help? It's called faith, girl. It's called faith. By faith, set my channels free like a bird to fly and see what God does. By faith, let me go. By faith, trust that God will keep you alive in spite of your putmadesas out here having a bounty on your head. By faith, because you're not getting out of this. You're not getting out of death. You're not getting out of judgment. You're not getting out of anything. For as long as you're sitting on my chest like a monster truck at a demolition derby and I'm just a Kia Picanto under the giant wheel. By faith, OC. I know you need help. Understand, Mudimo is not going to do anything for you. For as long as his servant is suffocating and facing death at the hands of merciless pervert boys. I need help, I need help. You need help? I need help. Listen, we're in this together. Everybody needs help. Yeah, but my help is from the Lord. Where's yours coming from? You need help? You're asking my God while you're sitting on the chest of his servant? You don't belong to him. Not only do you not belong to God, but you can't be saved. You're like Satan. So if at all any favor or a string needs to be pulled, a connection needs to be made on your behalf, your own cause. You need a Christian, honey. Look at you be a persecutor of the body of Christ and need a Christian. Hey? Yeah. She needs help. And with all these hysterical tears. Jaka ha senda dilaments tse hectic and jefela ko mahodimang go tswa sephinya out of her mouth because it's a stench up the nostrils of God. The Lord, however, understood that the situation is dire enough for this chick to out here giving that olile like that to Mudimo get some kind of karabo. And so karabo ya teng is this here situation, this here offer that I am awarding you from God as to what is the middle ground that he will give you insofar as I intercede for you. Extended life. Don't gotta die from a car accident, but you gotta let Karabo go, otherwise you're still gonna die, but you still can't enter God's rest. I'm sorry. That much I am genuinely and deeply sorry about, because hell was made for the devil and his angel, and you took yourself there. You lost your soul. You did that. In the same way that I can't intercede for the devil to get born again, but the Lord every so often grabs an Ahab and gives him more years to live because he was sorry about stealing Naboth's vineyard. Wander these streets vagrantly like a demon and wait for your turn to go into the lake of fire. Delay the inevitable. That's all you get. That's all you get. You and your Butmadlisas, one of which is just as desperate for recovery to God as you. His dad don't care nothing at all about God, but the son is just like you, and that's why he wants to slide into my life. Or anything, if at all he were to stand in my life, because he's like proper. The sun is coming into his eyes. I don't care. And the Lord has not been charging me to intercede for him. I don't care, because he is so determined for me and he's so obsessed that he is the bane of my existence. He is the issue, the biggest one, more even than you. Ugly woman at YouTube. So all that you have, and listen, run with it or not, take it or leave it, is an extension of life in exchange for getting off my chest. If you don't want to do that, fine. If you don't want to do that, it's okay. You will die. Nah, I don't care for her. Why would that be put forward to me? It is because I did not want to stand in the gap with a favorable prayer for her, because all I could pray was an imprecatory song to her, to God, concerning her. Kill my enemies, smite them. I can't, like my last shorts, I was even speaking about, listen, all that I do is wait for this chick at YouTube to die. I don't know when she's gonna die, because God showed me she's gonna die. I don't know when she's gonna die, because God showed me she's going to die. Now, the Lord is not going to, when he has sent out a judgment on a person, kill an individual that is in the center of saying, I'm sorry, God, please don't smite me. God doesn't do that. In the Bible, time and time again, it is displayed that when people are like, I'm sorry, he spares them. God does that. Like, listen, it happens, the Jews in the wilderness. People, like I said, Ahab is the most poignant example. Manasseh, he was given redemption. When the Lord is raining judgment on a people, and then they suddenly are like, I'm sorry. God stays his wrath. Even if these people are going to carry on with their nasty activity, God does not continue to smite when people say, I'm sorry. In the book of Revelation, it is written that these people neither repented of their idolatries, their sexual immorality, etc. when the Lord was smiting them. Understand, if the Lord upon smiting them with judgments in the book of Revelation, and they were like, askis, the Lord would have lessened their sorrow. We see it not only in Ahab's case, but we also see it in Pharaoh's case. But did Pharaoh not finish what he started? Pharaoh, every plague that slapped Egypt, every time he was like, I'm sorry, askis. The Lord knew that the guy's heart was hard and that he was never ever going to do anything that makes any kind of sense. And yet every single time he was like, I'm sorry. What did he do? Moses was the one, Aaron, that prayed to God and was like, okay, God, stop the plague in Egypt. Okay, God, stop the frogs. Okay, God, clear up the river Nile. Okay, God, bring back the days of brightness. Okay, God, stop killing the animals. Okay, God, remove the frogs, kill them all, so that they will be sent out of the town. Okay, God, stop the locusts. Okay, God. Pharaoh always was like, askisi. And only when he said askisi did the Lord charge Moses and Aaron to pray. It was never Pharaoh himself that said askisi that stopped the judgment, but God raised up Moses and Aaron to stop the suffering of the Egyptians, including Pharaoh. So therefore, God is not gonna, a broken and a contrite spirit, it is written in God's word, a broken heart and a contrite spirit, the Lord will not despise it. That's his word. He is not a man that he should lie, nor son of man to change his mind. He will never despise even seasonal contriteness. Even if it's just for 5 seconds, then you go back to your gnarly drawing board. Insofar as you will say, askisi hade. God, even though he sees as soon as I lift the plague, you're gonna go back to the drawing board. As soon as I lift the plague, that his attributes and his character might be evidenced to all of us. He will not despise a broken heart, neither will he despise a contrite spirit. So askisi yasebetsa ko Modimo. Mara ha bona hore o bodile and o tutsubana. He will charge his Christian to intercede on your behalf. So God pricked my heart pertaining Jezebel Orna and made me feel some kind of uncomfortable about the way I was praying imprecatory psalms to about her, imprecatory prayers to God about her. And the Lord showed me, what did I do? I woke up from that dream and I was like, Mara, can she get born again, God? Am I mistaken in saying, why doesn't she repent? Because and I always lemonade. Mara, why extreme? Why are you showing me that I'm being a little bit too much when she's concerned? And then I was like, okay, God. And this is now prayers prayed in English, in Tswana, understandably. Don't know what else I prayed under my breath in tongues. I was like, Lord, if this chick, I said this just in passing. That's why Elisha, when a dead body landed in his grave, even though it's in next, the power and the anointing on him raised a man from the dead. Therefore, even if you pray a little insincere prayer because of what it's or how sure if it's gonna give, if at all you're righteous, consecrated, and you're close to God, Norma is just a half. Norma is just an exhalation, a carbon emission worth of a prayer that lasts 5 seconds. It'll avail much. That is the power of consecration to God. So I prayed an exhalation, a carbon emission release worth of a prayer. I find God here. I guess all the day long. Help her, God, because I keep hearing voices telling me that I'm not. And I also like a cloud of witnesses, and I also saw a very vivid dream full of the brightness of God. In her apartment. Then I was like, okay, what happened just 2 days later? What happened just Mambala met 2 days later? Yana fella. Kya ke molora he hape. Ale mo jarateng a gigila atsega ale ngolo. Shelling mapona, breast pendulously just swaying around, waving them around like they just don't care. They were sharp like razors. I don't know why her boobs were sharp. And she had manhood in her center. And she was trying to flick me in some fashion. And she was rocking wig Nikki Aperinya. Maraya nearly black as opposed to color orange, whatever you want to call this color. Yeah, when I saw that dream, I was like, whatever, because herein lies me dreaming about her. And then kimolora ale butt naked. And then this morning, kitsukile not so much from a dream, Mara from baby tongue set up in like, you know, when you're just coming out of sleep and there's like a lot of spiritual activity in that waking space. I then hear the spirit telling me she was found in her apartment dead. And I was like to God, she can go die, I don't care. Mara, wasn't she supposed to die from koloi emochisa from the back? And I suicide. Why did she commit suicide? Why did she send herself to Hades? Why didn't she die from Atabadi healing Hagan? Why Asabulawa? And the Lord answered by saying, because of the fact that the walls were closing in on her and she was so morbidly depressed that even the fear and the paranoia of her person every time she's out and about in the wilderness, because she believes my prophecies, just living that life paranoid, she will just expedite. Thing is, she's already going to hell anyway. Apartment in and I was like, okay, well, whatever, let her die that way. If she wants to take herself out, suicide, let her go. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't care about this chick. Anything to get her off my chest. Anything. I don't care. But I remember when she was crying like a dog, me being told by a cloud of witnesses that Karawa doesn't care about this chick, and basically the wrong death coming her way, her expediting like Saul in battle jumping on his own sword type thing. And then this afternoon when I was washing dishes, I then hear the spirit saying she finally made a decision to address this chick's dichotomy, dilemma, whatever's going on in her bones. Not verbatim, something of that nature. The spirit said she finally made a decision to address I've been seeing how distressed this woman is, how much she is complaining that I don't care about her, how much there is a cloud of witnesses that keeps on telling me you don't care about her, how the Lord himself showed me that heavily suicidal, I've seen a paranoia of her in public. And the Lord then, with me realizing all these things, I basically woke up to understand that the Lord is willing to, seeing as this woman is contrite, and if at all people are like, I'm sorry because plagues are landing on you, God stays his wrath. Mara, because you make like Pharaoh, nonetheless you in the end get swallowed by the Red Sea. I realized that it was not mine to finish this chick off, but rather that I'm gonna do what God wants me to do. There is some element of God's hearkening to snacks, but there is also a closed offness that God has concerning her, to a point where it must be the woman that you are standing on the chest of that must be driven to enough compassion to stand in the gap for you, because I am not going to hearken to your prayers. It must be Karabo that sees it fit to let you know that you can still live longer. And if she doesn't want to let you know because she's mad, then she won't let you know. She won't let you know. What y'all need to understand is that in your wickedness, sometimes you are at the mercy of angry saints. You are at the mercy of mad men and women of God that are so tired of your trash that in spite of what God is charging them to do or letting them know is a spiritual issue, they will be unmoved, because after all, Chiki from YouTube, Mamela, I've got some crazy, possessed, obsessed, hybrid freak thinking that he's gonna buy me Christian Louboutins and a Gucci purse, and I will forget that he is a hybrid because of you. I've got men that think I am a potential side piece, something to have sex with for the night, something that'll eventually be convinced what's going on. I've got men saying things like, you know, put matlisa ntatwa hae wa mkhaba wa lekoko, no one will ever console me. Ntatwa hae did a spell. Okay, one of these days I'm gonna die. Men are angry at me for bruising men are vus and they are blowing steam and they're angry at me for bruising their egos that are the size of a peanut, because Musadi that has nothing about, and they feel like they own me, and there is a woman that's helping them feel this way. Jengoba, you put me in a rape camp full of men that are incensed, like men men that do nothing but fantasize about having sex with me, and even then rough sex. But when you put me in the center of a cockpit where encircling me are very thick glass walls, see-through, through these walls of which they're able to see a butt-naked woman that they find excruciatingly attractive, and they're all sexual deviants, you've put me in the center of that thing, and I'm protected by nothing but these glass walls. Nonetheless, through them, I am perceived as a butt-naked before these men, and there is a Madam Brothel that has told these men, bid for her, and the highest bidder will be the one that will be able to ogle the longest and ultimately cause this chick to open these doors and let him ravage her. You have put me in the center of a brothel as a virgin, butt naked, before men who have come here to do no other thing but have sex. And you expect me to care that God shows me that you're crying in your apartment and you're 5 seconds away from suicide, your suicide is my blessing. Your death, you getting hit by a car, anything at all of your elimination is me finally getting out from a sex trafficking ring, having escaped actual rape. You have subjugated me to the tyranny of men fantasizing about ravaging Umzimbawa one day because you are their enabler. You are the very curse all over the country. You are the very gender-based violence epidemic in the land. Women that help men rape them. So, I mean, what in the world? If at all God shows me that you're distressed, I don't care. Die. I have literally said in my heart, when the Lord showed me how suicidal you are, that I'm not even going to tell you that God showed me that he cares that you shouldn't kill yourself, because I want you to die. I want you to eliminate yourself. I want you to grab that razor. That's how God showed me you would knock yourself out. Cut yourself with a razor. You're stronger than me, Shamu brave. I would want a gun just to get it done with. You've got a pain threshold every hectic, I understand. Fa batla go isega we raise nje fela ko apartmenteng ya hao o krawe o ngavele that stumbo that I spoke about earlier. Good news guys, all I've been waiting is that you be out here chilling and hanging out. I don't care. And I was tempted not to share this thing, but I'm sharing it anyway for no other reason but to edify the audience. I'm sharing it anyway for no other reason but to edify the audience that I'm ultimately one day going to reach for Jesus. It's not so much even about you. Whether or not you hearken to this message, either way you're going to move out the way, be it by lifule very hectic in your backyard, either at your own hands, because you're hella suicidal, and then, or you might either expedite your own death and send yourself to Hades prematurely, or you will get hit by a car, or you will leave me alone and get given a couple of years to live extra. Your measly life and then only go to Hades. I cannot tell you that you're going to enter into God's rest because you're not. You're done for. You're a hybrid. You're done for. But you can live a little bit longer, because anything to delay torture in Hades. You're like the devil, and you are a monument. You must be a monument. Will think twice before joining the occult. Will think twice before allowing themselves to be experimented on. Will think twice about doing little random transhuman experiments. You must be the monument that is presented to the world to hugely disincentivize them from taking up a deal with the devil, because they might come out of there unable to repent. There are people who are just casually signing deals with devils and recanting their faith, renouncing the Bible for freaking YouTube channel. They will seriously reconsider doing that when they hear about your story. You are the monument. Somebody gotta be the example. It's like dirty work, cleaning toilets. It's not the best of jobs, so hey, somebody gotta do it. And you're that thing. You're the wicked for the day of trouble, and I'm sorry that that's your life. You and your put madlisas. But this here, amnesty can be awarded you. Some kind of an ability to be able to escape at least imminent death. Because just like Pharaoh, my man, even though I saw you crying and mourning, God, please help me. And then also had a dream about you. Listen, I just woke up from it today. Manhood in your center. Breast dangling, out you're wearing my wig, looking like me, giggling like me. Your jealousy is too exorbitant, it's too extreme, to a point of God showing me all your insecurities to help me understand Ubuti. This woman is so shallow that she is killing you because she feels like she fades in your presence and in your glory. And if at all she's killing you, understand, no other woman is left out. You are a ramming vehicle in a Christmas market, thanks to Islamic terrorism on innocence. You're the kind of person to walk into a university campus and just start shooting based on what you believe in. You're the kind of person to just stand on a bridge and just start shooting at people at a beach celebrating Hanukkah. You're the kind of person to just ram into a music festival and start killing and raping people because of your ideology. You are a loose cannon, honey. That's what you are. You're just an incendiary loose cannon of a vehicle that is going to ram into a children's birthday party, killing 10 people, including 3 children under the age of 10. That's who you are. Indiscriminately, you're killing South Africans and you're attending their funerals afterwards. Some of your friends have committed suicide because of your witchcraft, and you went to their funerals, and you are not going to stop. The imperative thing to understand over here is not so much to highlight your past sins, because God forgives sins past, present, and future. It is that you will carry on in spite of your present brokenness and how much you feel judged by God. Tomorrow you're going to meet another Karabo, and they will be your victim. For as long as you are still working at YouTube, you will find another Christian and you will bury them under shadow banning. You will be rogue at work. You will need an internal investigation that's going to arrest you and send you to prison. You will always be in dire need of somebody always investigating your behind, because you will never stop terrorizing. You are like the criminals in the US of A that are let out of prison only a few months later. They then burn people in trains. They then murder people with knives in trains. You are the person that goes into a party and then just starts shooting at random people because you feel like the world has done you dirty. You're the random person that didn't make it into the NFL league that goes and shoots your former coach for not recommending you to university sponsors, to scouts. You're that thing. Letting you out of prison is dangerous. That's why I didn't even want to let you know what God is showing me about your heart. You're the abuser and the saboteur. God might set me free because he has gazed upon me with favor, but tomorrow you're going to kill somebody's 17-year-old daughter. Tomorrow you're going to hand a virgin over to Abaput Madesa that are looking at young women on the internet, older women even, because I'm older, and decide that I'm going to marry her, or she's going to be one of my third wives, my wives within a polygamous marriage. She's going to be one of my baby mamas. Mucho is still planning on making more children, even though he is HIV positive with a litany of other STDs. You are always going to be the woman that's giving men, innocent people's daughters. You're always going to be that thing. So therefore, while the Lord might indeed, seeing as you're saying askis, give you enough compassion for me, who is your arch rival and most mortal enemy today, enough of a siren or an alarm of your brokenness, so that I can stand in the gap for you, nonetheless, God is giving me that understanding because you can't pray to him directly, evidencing that tomorrow, even though you've seen 3 days of darkness, you're still going to hold on to God's people. And since you're the terrorist Fulani militant archer shooting Nigerians as they enjoy Christmas lunch in their villages, seeing as you that random church shooter killing pastors point blank and everything, because you mad, you angry, and don't nobody like the fact that as a woman you've got manhood in the center in a dream, seeing as you're that thing, all I can give you right now is 5 more years of life, maybe 10, maybe 15, maybe 20, I don't know, whatever God will give you, but only because I finally made a decision to stand in the gap whiffing, releasing some carbon emissions, that if also when I feel some kind of way, then God have mercy on her, because really I'm sick and tired of dreaming about her being all uncomfortable. And then after I intercede for you, so you can feel a little better, less suicidal, you then hook up a dream where I'm seeing you with your manhood all up in my yard. You then do a ritual that shows me your person looking like that. You're the same thing today, tomorrow, and forever. You will never change, be transformed, for you are reprobate entirely. But you are given amnesty for now, an option at extending your life or dying sooner rather than later. But whatever you do, you will nonetheless move out the way. You will get off my chest. You will skedaddle. You will bounce. You will skip town. You will eradicate yourself from my person. You will remove these rapey men from my chest. And if you don't, you will be removed. That these rapey men may get off my chest. One way or another, you're on your way out. You choose as to whether or not you enter eternity and so being on your way out, or just leave me the heck alone. But on my chest, honey, you can't chill. Your days are over. They're not even numbered. Listen, they're done for. That's not even what I wanted to talk about. I'm still getting into it, and it's 1:08 in the morning. I still need to sing my songs, and for a third time, I still need to go and pee. When I come back from using the loo, I will finally sing my music and then get into the real message of the day, because Papa, I haven't even gotten into it. But I wanted to let you know that all the sabotage and witchcraft is doing to me is drawing me so close to God that now I appear to have some kind of veto power as to whether or not a person stands or dies. If I don't care, God is like, okay, you don't care. I didn't even know that we could do that as Christians. If not, the Lord cares enough in my pain and in my sorrow to be like, okay, you don't care that she should stick alive. You don't know, like, think even about the Hebrews in the wilderness. Was it not Aaron with the incense standing in the gap of these crazy Jews that rescued them? Was it not Moses that interceded that don't kill them, God, please, for your own name's sake? They're gonna say that you took them out of Egypt only to lay them waste in the wilderness. If at all God is not interested in you and your particular agenda, you need Moses and you need Aaron. Now let me give you a New Testament example of that, just in case you are saying, but that's the old covenant. No, honey, it exists even in the new covenant. You will remember Simon the sorcerer actually trying to purchase the Holy Spirit with his mashankura, and Peter rebuked the living daylight out of him, pronouncing God's heavy judgment on him. And what does Simon the sorcerer say? Oh my goodness, oh snap, oh no. Please pray to your God on my behalf that all this judgment might not befall me. Because Peter was the one that was in right standing with God, Simon the sorcerer had to beg Peter to stand in the gap for him to God. So when you are acting a mighty food against the Almighty, you better suck up to a Christian when you're facing imminent death, because then they might actually succeed to stay death from coming in your backyard. I've had dreams in the past where my older sister was delelaring like hard knock mara ali on a precipice about to fall over and pass away, and the way she was in so much danger in my dream, I even told her, if it was not for I went and I told her, I was like, during a fight, that the only reason why you're still out here walking up and down is because you're next. Stop with your alcohol, stop with that, stop with the other. Did she listen? To a certain extent she did. She's presently walking in a contrite demeanor, and it's been lingering for months now. So even though she might have given me attitude when I told her to her face what's going on, nonetheless she went and cogitated over what I spoke and acted a little differently, even though she's not born again. You don't know what an interceding Christian is doing for you. Therefore, when you act a crazy fool and how because you're feeling that we have been left out on a limb, that I at your mercy, you are rather at ours. You need basically be better to me. I'm not as magnanimous as God. I'm not as slow to anger and abounding in steadfast love as God. I am not with the depth and the girth of chill factor as God has over the wicked. Therefore, if mina ngakwata to a point where angandaba that nyabona ukuthi you are in distress, kusho ukuthi you're sure nando tanyana ndaba now. And manje, since I don't care about the lot of you, bye-bye. Because God has already said bye-bye first. He's already pronounced the judgment. But unless unless Elijah stands in the gap of Ahab, he doesn't get extra time. Unless Aaron with his staff burns, not his staff but incense, unless he burns incense, the rest of the Jews die. Unless Moses stands in the gap of the Jews, they die. Unless Moses and Aaron pray to God to stop the plagues in Egypt, The Egyptians endured in perpetuating measure. So your belief that you don't need to grovel at my feet is entirely erroneous, because if at all the Lord has already pronounced a judgment on you, the only people that can intercede to stay it from fulfilling its end degree are those that stand in the gap, that advocate and intercede, that the God of heaven who gazes upon Abu Karabo with favor, say, unless the God of heaven gazes upon Karabo with favor, and so therefore hearkens to her intercession on your behalf. We saw it as well with with the story of Sodom, Legomorada. You saw how it is that he was like, if there were 10 men, if there were 50 men, etc. And then ultimately Lot got taken out of Sodom. You will remember how even the angels of God grabbed Lot and his family to rip them out of there for the sake of Abraham. For the sake of Abraham, even though they were dilly-dallying, they were traipsing over there like they're just like a daisically, hopping up and down, preendy like a gazelle at the beach. And then God wabatata Mara, the one chick, looked back, lost wife, and was turned into a pillar of salt for the sake of Abraham. So when you sit there as a gnarly little dirt bag of a dot and say, all the best. All the best. Don't beg me. Don't grovel at my feet. I mean, it's not like I can actually ask a king to spare your life, put you in prison as opposed to, I don't know, kill you. It's not like I got that power. Listen, carry on. You will remember what happened with Esther. And I made a nonsense daughter of a full stop called Haman. When the king Xerxes was like, yeah, I'm done over here, upon hearing what Esther had to say about Haman, did Haman not go and grovel and beg at Esther's feet because the king was wrathful? Did Haman not beg and grovel at Esther's feet because Esther was the one that could stay the wrath of her husband? But once the king has made a decision to set a decree, if you don't get one of the king's nobles or one of the king's most BFFs, most beloved servants, saying, come on, king, please don't do this thing, you're done for. And indeed, Esther stood there as Haman was groveling at her feet. Forgive me, I did not know that they were your people. Because Esther was just vos mad and done. Haman. She was just done. She just stood there. And when then Xerxes was like, you're touching my wife, do you then now go and assault the first lady? Are you gonna now go out and grope my wife? Take this man to the gallows. The very ones that he set apart for Mordecai to die in. Esther did not say to her king that no, he wasn't trying to rape me or whatever. He was just begging me to ask you to not kill him. She didn't even correct it. She just stood there and let Xerxes accuse Haman of assault on Esther. She let it happen. So when you anger a person that is able to stand in the gap for you to a king, she could just stand there because you guys not eating random. She will just stand there. Now that you've been humbled to zero, not an ash, and just let a king take you to the gallows, even with the case of mistaken action. So proper, you don't need to You still believe you don't need to beg me? You still believe you don't need to grovel at my feet? You still are of the imagination that you don't need to out here deeply cogitate the prospect of asking for me to stand in the gap for you to my king, Haman? Since you're so arrogant, even in your dying moments, I will not ask God for time for you. I will not stand in the gap. I will not care that you're distressed. I will not care that you've got a heart issue. You've got palpitations. I won't care. And if I don't care, then God won't care. Because God is looking at me, not you. God is done with you. You are reprobate, you are handed over, and the only way that reprobate people get stood in the gap for that their life sentence may be extended, that their death penalty may be reduced to a lighter penalty to life, is through saints. We are the only way that the wicked who can't be redeemed get extra time on earth. We are the only way that the wicked who can't be recovered to God get their children's lives spared. And I'm going to explain to you what the Lord showed me is about to happen to these men that are all up in my grill like white on rice. I first gotta go and pee and everything because I'm all pressed. Yeah, I said yeah. Yeah, and really, I started. I'm only starting singing now. It's 1:26 in the morning. Okay, go peachy. Because we're gonna sing anyway. We'll just try not to raise the voice too high. Send the laments up to heaven ka tapelo le mino. Hore mahodimong a tlona pula engwe e acid. Hore little melta di fatlehong, cause what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Twenty D-Ding e tsagale. Ne ke sa batle ho get into much discussion before ke opela. Mara ke more discuss it. O see o tletseng ka culpable homicide. I'm at her mercy when it's rather the truth that she's at mine. Mara we can se spisa parafini ke mo. O fitile o bogile. Judgment day e hure. Mara we tshotse rena ona le nako. O shebane le watch gage MP snacks e trapilweng ke modimo. Watching isikhathi sindlula expecting me to turn 50 modimo a tswile ko nna. When rather modimo o tswile ko yena clearly. And so because God phume kuye, this Bondi Beach shooter. O sele ukuthi uzophumelela nje fela nza trapa nza thunya ko Bondi Beach without facing extinction. Without facing extermination. Una my ambitions. I get to go ungatang mosadi ona. Hey, let's get o tshwana le banna ba ba sebeletsang. Like father like daughter. They're your big daddies, ain't they? Na baba yazwengula nje bayathatha no baba bafathi bathi abazingeni. Bayashela anyway. Now you're a weird little lesbian that's like GBV men. Don't nobody know what's going on over there. Mara anyway, wonke la my ambitions wabo. Azotrapiwa, just like late GBV akon. Azoshaya ngama face. Ashiwe on the pavement, on the driveway. Aphuma amehlo, kodwa usaphapha. Usablinka, usawinka. Because she thinks something is gonna give lana. Msebetsi ke mo wafofa. Nkare di hot cakes at a bakery. Akela itso ke editor. Una le monna mogolo o busy on kwatetseng una 60 something kodwa o feel ngathi kwamele mina. Ke lo mona nkare ke stock sweet. Lantsa atsutsubane ya botlhoko hakana looking more like spinach for umntana omncane angazingeni indaba zama veggie. Kodwa yena uziyenze I lollipop. Yeah, okay. Ithe ukuthi mina I-computer yami izocrasha. Lenja le efuna ukuzenza I-stock sweet game. Alright. Nayo ke haika border. Cheka usiona. Ka ufela bona yakhe nata balibona. Mara ba busy bantu ukuthi phube. Man, where is this folder engifunayo la? Ufuna lo muntu ukuthi mina ngilahlelwe. I-computer yami, yeah. Cause he's like a cow. Ngishilo ngathi they like mina moo. Mina moo. Mina moo. Mina moo and cow. Mina moo and cow. I can saw a belly too much. I can read a lot on my mind. I can only pick a lot of dubula. And do bye. Nani. Ang shelegi. I don't know anything about ni daide. We understand uguting in swembu. Nyabonga for recognizing ikriniso eng talanglazi. Koto I think I'm in denial. Alright. Koto ang shelegi. Marala shel. Kab ka diklaro no gal. You always in so ka kishelo abutu ka na diklaro. Eng kalo na yola about you losing your game. Alasa kono a system nice hello nice. Alasa it has fled from you just like everything else that you keep losing. Including mahlo, limi riri, lishapagadim pandane, over and above nje fela. Having nothing but a toupee for hair. You also lose your game, bruh. You also be losing your game, bruh. You show you like a game. Usashero lem kakunu yathatwa njengemithi. At lapho you infect abafana. Good right, kulungile. I don't owe you jack, you don't owe me jack, we understand. But you're at my mercy. Amen. And I'm grateful to be aware of that. But by now I know that you covet my prayers. You thoroughly do. You covet my prayers. And yet you can't get them. Because kitla ke rapelang muna. Trapileng. Nkaragi GBV. Atama anja fela walking these streets galloping like a horse. After all, is he not half horse, half cow? You be out galloping. You be galloping. You be galloping. Da-da-da. Da galloping. Look at that thing go. Gallopy, gallopy. Gallopy, gallopy. Gallopy, gallopy. Gallopy, gallopy. Gallopy, gallopy. And then they have the brazen audacity after galloping to have pity on me. I'm sorry, I'm distracted. The other day I spoke about all that pity. Where is this thing? Hey? Yeah. I was speaking about how in Egypt, did I speak it in a short? Okay, let's speak it in long form. It was sticker like shebese. Labes bubblegum. Because ngabazulu abantu, so they don't say chippies, they say shebese. They got an accent for everything. Anyway, whatever. Pitying me. They've caused pity on the part of people who are surveilling my case. I'm pretty sure, just like in Germany, there were some Germans that felt pity for the Jews and yet did nothing. And in Egypt in particular, I would imagine, there were likely some Egyptians that felt pity for the slaves, the Egyptian slaves, the Hebrew slaves, sorry. Looking at them being slave driven on some, Kisono mona. Why marabaita mana bachoncho ntosena. Marabacho ba snacks. Laba fitile ke mamina nje fela sis. Hayi man sis batho ba snacks man. Batlaitsa ngwana ba tshontsho so kana go teng o ipupile o se o hie. Matsoga ga re nkare the four legs of a kangaroo. They don't stretch out too far out. No, bro, they just stick around over here. So the fellow, hello, I got a pouch, and in it are just my babies. Yeah, baby out here with their hands just here, saying kisono waiti. Why by thumbs out on your soul? Doing nothing about the situation because you are cowards. So your hands are like those of a kangaroo, just here. Mara Umo, talking about how you gonna do that to a person though. Why aren't you doing anything about my case? Why don't you write me a letter, let a sister know that, listen, I'm praying for you. Then again, if you were to write me a letter, I would know you belong to the occult, so I would unlikely respond. Because I can't share anyone that makes sense. This chick has made sure of it. The only audience in should be like give monetized on YouTube go fella. Some celebrities, a couple of people that belong to cults that always surveil people like me. As soon as I'm done blowing my nose and finishing this edit, I'm be with you. I'ma be with you like all the way up, all the way in. But yeah, with the kangaroo head, that's what it's giving. So I'm pretty sure that the Egyptians were also with their hands looking like a kangaroo, just there. Doing nothing to enable the cause of the Jews. No better treatment, no advocating, no civil uprising or something. Why you be treating people like that? No trying to change the mind of the king about what you're doing to the Hebrews. Like, it's wrong. Stop enslaving people. Your hands are just like, yeah. Oh, these Jews, they're just in so much pain. It's so much trauma. It's like trouble all the day long. Why they be driving them like that though? They're just people though. Just like you and me, they be breathing the same air. You prick them, they bleed the same blood. Listen, they human. You can't be treating no people like that. Oh, Pharaoh though. I mean, listen, I'm not trying to speak against the king or whatever, but like the dude is just raw with hatred for these guys. I don't know why he be doing that. Oh my. But I say anything to loose the straps of the yoke and to undo the straps of the yoke and to loose the bonds of wickedness. Doing nothing to help the Jews along. Y'all know that when you be helping Jews along, you be making like Rahab, right? Nothing. The only person that was helped out of Jericho was Rahab. The only person that was brave enough to stand with God's people was the only one that got rescued from the calamity that finally befell them. Even Mordecai made that a clarity to Esther when she was trying to hesitate. He was like, help for the Jews is going to come from some other place if not from you. But when it comes, you and your whole household are going to suffocate under their sword. But who knows if you've not been put in this position for such a time as this. Of course, I'm paraphrasing. So Esther started out on some, but like my people. And then she was like, but I'm extending a hand of prayer. Hold a fast and I'm going to go into the king. And if I live, I live. And if I die, I die. Esther finally made like a proper Jew and enabled the cause of her people and did not imagine herself set apart from trouble purely because she was in the king's household. Okay, now I can focus on all of y'all with gay. My edit is doing whatever the edits are should be doing. And then ultimately help came along. Rahab also did the same thing. But if you make like a kangaroo like that, all you'll do is be like, oh shame, these people down there in so much slavery. I don't know how I'll be feeling about this. Like, it's just so wrong. It's so wrong. All sheepish. I bet the Germans in Germany also were like, but it's not wrong. But it's only Amy Carmichael that ought to be getting any kind of recognition for helping the Jews along. The rest of the German citizens that left the Jews in the Holocaust were shamed, frowned upon. And still to this day, Germany is still trying to recover from that reputation. They're still trying to recover. Yeah. Help for the Jews came from some other place if not from you. Once the Americans raided that joint, the Germans were just humiliated with what was happening in their very backyard. But I'm pretty sure some of them were like, but like, it's so wrong. It's such a pity. They be feeling pity for people until God shows them flames. They be feeling pity for people until God shows them flames. In the entertainment industry, the only celebrity so far that I know of, I bet there are others, that have stood for Christian persecution in Nigeria is Nicki Minaj. I don't know of anybody else, but it's just Nicki Minaj. There might be others, I'm not sure of them, but they're not bold. They likely are like, but it's just so wrong. They be shooting people at Bondi Beach. They also be going into kibbutz. Right over. So that's like Jew sympathizers, and then those who are Christian sympathizers. They be out here butchering them Nigerians in Nigeria. Ooh, I don't know. I'm not feeling right about that. But nothing at all to help the cause along, especially considering you're a celebrity. You've got a big enough platform to create awareness, because there are people that are Christian that are trying to proliferate in their ignorable disposition. They're just regular Janes and regular Joes, and their content immediately gets shadow banned. There was one lady commenting about Christian persecution in Nigeria who said in her comment on CBN News, speaking about the new massacres happening in Nigeria, that On Facebook, I try to create awareness. No one is listening. And every time I post something about the Jews, no one views, no one comments. It is extremely shadow banned, just that one post. So, I mean, what are the odds that a celebrity is going to be that badly shadow banned as soon as the algorithm or the bots on a social media platform pick up that this is sympathizing over Christian persecution in Nigeria or any part of the world? They then shadow ban that particular post. If bots automatically just shadow ban a post, what are the odds that they're going to shadow ban somebody that's got 5 million subscribers or 5 million followers? Someone that's got 14 million followers, someone that's got 50 million followers because you're a celebrity. It's slim to none. They're not going to succeed to smother that voice. They're not going to succeed. So essentially, the best advocates for us are people like Nicki Minaj, people who are in the entertainment industry that see what it is. They're not born again, but nonetheless, they're willing to call a spade and go out on a limb and take a risk, take a chance for what they believe. They bravely just speak out. But Nicki Minaj has been one to speak out. Like, she's never been scared. Even during COVID, she lamented that she had a cousin in Trinidad that RJ be struggling some kind of way because of the shot. And they tried to, like, silence her and, like, you know, smother her and what have you. Nonetheless, Nicki Minaj spoke and the word spread like a cancer, metastasizing. So Nicki Minaj was bold. She's been provably bold historically, and now she has stood for Christians. That even though she's not a born-again Christian, the Lord will not if you give a prophet a glass of water to drink, you will receive that prophet's reward. If you give a righteous person some kind of enablement, if you receive them, you will receive that righteous person's reward. So Nicki Minaj might not yet be righteous, and she might not yet be a child of the living God or whatever, but bottom line is God does not forget things like those. If you have got a platform that is gargantuan, and you make a decision to speak something that everybody else is imaginative, that if you speak it, your career is going to fizzle away, you have done a brave thing that the Lord will reward. And so celebrities ought to be the ones that are making like Nicki Minaj and highlighting the Christian persecutions in Nigeria, even though you're going to lose followers. Celebrities and big people, podcasters, basically those who've got millions upon millions of followers, and per tweet, per whatever, they be getting out your a cult following for that thing. They're the ones that are responsible at this particular juncture, albeit not being children of the living God yet. They're the ones that ought to be shining a torch on the rooftop, because the rest of us, when we post one little thing on Facebook, already bots are nibbling away at it like Pac-Man, and they're shadow banning that one post. And in the case of Karabo, it's so bad that, in the case of Crank K, it is so bad that her whole channel is just smothered. But there are people who are watching me. There are people who are aware of what's going on with me, and they refuse to make like Nicki Minaj with bigger platforms. And I'll just speak about how it is that there was a woman that is being killed in broad daylight in front of everybody. God calls what's happening to me an open casket funeral, where people are watching me get killed by some crazy, creepy lady called YouTube every day in front of people that can see. And nobody's prepared to stand on their platform and say, guys, please go and follow this woman's channel, because there was a woman violently shadow banning her. And then all they're doing is with their hands, they're making like that kanga just here. Oh, the gaga was clean. Why are you someone about your show? What about your job? But yeah, you be pitying God's people until help for the Jews comes from some other place, if not from you. Help for the Christians will come from some other place, if not from you. They always pity the body of Christ. There are some sympathizers in our midst that will never say that they are uncomfortable about this and are unhappy about what Archer is giving, what Archer is sufficing. There are always sympathizers looking. There will always be such voices. But at the level of just excruciating regret, where is that little fan? Where do broken hearts go? There are some people who also keep saying when they watch my content, killing this is just a travesty. We can't kill this woman. We can't let her die. We can't. Who is this we? Who are you that, even though I've got zero views across the board, yet you have access to my content? Who are you? And from where are you watching me? Come on, watching. Watching me in the back end? You watching me in the back end, YouTube employee that know that there is a murderous lady who's got manhood, even though she's a woman, in the center. How really out here helping a man kill a woman? How really out here helping men kill women in a country that's just riddled and teeming at the folds with GBV? I need to find my fan. There is a woman helping men and me in a very typical GBV space in South Africa. There was also a man that, if I was to be with him, because he prefers me with wigs instead of my natural hair, he would insist that get pretty weak. No man said I'm stealing peg. People got kinks, y'all. I'm not marrying a sexual deviant. I'm not marrying a man that's going to insist that I keep a face beat on so he can continue to consider me attractive. I'm not going to marry a man that cannot see me. I'm not going to be the kind of woman that has, like, her husband cannot see her without makeup. I can talk about like a bonding little lashes. And I can also have bonding little lashes. If at all I cannot be with a man that cannot be with umfazi, that's not fully made, fully done. I'm not with that guy. And I keep getting dreams of some idiot that will keep buying me the wig because he prefers me katsona. And not frankly, I prefer my own natural hair. The only reason I'm rocking these wigs is because my 4C ngaphansi. And futhi iyatwapisa le lazy. Granted that I'm suffering. I'm going through hell on earth. So I'm not busy maintain a miriri, but if it was up to me, I would rock up here all the time with my hair, my natural hair. Either I would do braids or natural looking hairstyles, or I would style my own hair. If I had incentive to do so, I would not wear wigs. So Indoda that prefers me on my wig, you're not my husband. Nonetheless, lama kangaroo. I'm a kangaroo with their hands over here. These kangaroos with their hands over here. Come on, like, what happened to my lighting over there? I need lighting to be supporting me like a mascot at a sporting match. Like, support me with pom-poms. There, rah, rah. There, rah, rah. Because I don't got no such support in these uneasy 2025 streets. Everybody is just treating me like I'm such a yeah, that's looking a little bit better. I'm looking ever so slightly better. Yeah. Tell me, how should I breathe with no air?